Hello gang, my name is River. If you don't know me, my name is River. I'm an artist. This is my YouTube channel. I have a small business where I sell my art, and I also have an Instagram if you want to check out the other things that I do beside my art, beside my shop, sorry. Welcome to the video. I'm so happy to have you here. I'm so happy. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. Hopefully you will enjoy it, I hope. So today we're talking about the concept of audience and what I call talking to the void, which is very dramatic. There's probably a way to phrase like what I'm thinking in my mind that isn't as dramatic, because it's kind of a crazy way to phrase that. So first of all, what am I talking about? What are we talking about here? Obviously, when we say audience, there's like social media, there's also like theater and cinema, right? Like a physical audience that's in front of you. Like the audience, the type of audience that will laugh at your jokes at the theater, or will cry during a sad scene in a movie, or just like the friend that you have in front of you that is also gonna laugh at your joke, or like basically anyone that is gonna react to something that we're doing. So that's like, I think what I would say is an audience, right? So the way that I like what I want to talk about here is like the not the pros and cons, but like what it can do for us in terms of good, and what it can do for us in terms of bad. Okay, that was worded really weirdly, but like the good and the bad that comes with having an audience, right? Okay. First of all, a very important thing to mention is that no one has just one audience, right? No one has just like one audience all the time in whatever situation they're doing. Like, your audience is always going to change, but there are many situations in your life where you have people in front of you, and you have maybe groups of people in front of you. Obviously, I don't consider it an audience if I'm talking to someone, because like I'm not performing, I'm not putting on a show, I'm just talking to a person. So I don't consider that an audience, because there's like an exchange, right? Audience is a bit more complicated. It's like you're performing, you're doing something, you're giving something to someone, to a group of people, and they're reacting, and that's the only thing that you get back. It's like, it's a reaction, right? It's a weird type of transaction, because in a way, if you have an audience, you owe them something, and they don't really owe you anything back. Like, they can react whatever, like however they want. If they say your joke was not funny, then it just wasn't funny, and that's it. They don't owe you to laugh at your joke. Why am I talking about this, right? Because I'm not an actor and I'm not a comedian, so why am I talking about audience? The reason that I've been thinking about audience is that I find it really difficult to like do things alone. I'm saying that in the way that the things that I enjoy to do in my life, my hobbies, they are connected. Like, okay, for example, if I'm making a painting, and I'm really satisfied with the result of the painting, I show it to my friends, and they tell me that they like it, usually. And there's like, and I find it difficult to have the motivation to do that, to do art specifically, when there's no one to show it to. And it's not that I don't want to show it to people. I really want people to see what I'm doing, but not a lot of people are seeing it when I put it out there, right? It's just discouraging, because it removes from the not the value and not the experience, but it removes from the, to me it removes from the process of it and the steps of making art. Because to me, making art, I always have the other person in mind, like other people in mind when I'm making art. That's why I love having that's why I love selling my art, you know? Like, I love just thinking about the fact that someone else is gonna have this in their homes. Like, to me it feels like it's a connection between me and that other person. So the same way, like when I'm doing a painting, I love knowing that it's like someone else is gonna like someone else is gonna love it, someone else is gonna think about it, even if it's just for a second, you know? I love knowing that, because it's an exchange. The same way that when I go on social media or when I go to a museum, I'm seeing art that someone else has made, even when I'm reading. And that, to me, that adds a lot of value to the art. You've probably felt this before, but it's like sometimes you're reading something and it's so uncanny the way that that person has written an emotion or an experience that you've lived before, and you're like, holy shit, that person has lived the same thing as I have. And it's a bit uncanny, and it's like really reassuring also, and I find that personally really beautiful. All of those things that happen once a piece is done, all of those like exchanges that happen after the piece is complete, to me that's also part of the piece. So when I'm here in my little bedroom and I'm making a piece of art, and then I was gonna say when I post it online, but I don't really do that. And that's my fault. That's because I'm having technical difficulties, because my iPad is broken, whatever. But when I do something in my bedroom and then no one sees it, it's like really, it feels like being cut short. It feels like it's not done, right? Like, I don't know if that makes sense. That's the way I feel about it. And I think it's really cool. I'm not saying that to, I don't want to say that to talk about me. I know I'm talking about me. I've been talking about, like, my experience this whole time. What I'm trying to say is that, like, this is my way of exploring that idea that does not have me at the center, but I have to explore it through my lens first, through my experience. But I'm not saying this to say, like, I wish I had more audience, I do blah, blah, blah. Like, yes, I have things that I want, but that's not what I'm here to talk about. I'm here to talk about, like, what this is making me think about. So that's interesting. That's really interesting. You know, when I'm talking like this, like, I'm really realizing things that I didn't realize before I started recording, you know? Like, I'm not just, like, giving you my thoughts. I'm trying to understand this as I'm saying it. So if it sounds a bit odd, if it sounds like if it sounds like my thoughts are not all the way cooked, is because they're not. And I'm trying to, like, explore my thoughts via talking out loud. But yeah, so that's interesting. But, like, another thing that we have to consider is that it's also really, really good to not have an audience, obviously, because there's a reason why you have, like, a bedroom and you want to be alone sometimes. You have to understand, like, what it means for you to have an audience, and when is it that you want one, and when is it that you don't want one. And that's, like, not easy. That's really not easy, because sometimes the two, like, kind of bleed into each other, right? Like, if I'm like painting something, I don't want people to be like be there over my shoulder looking at what I'm doing, so I don't really want an audience. But when I'm done, sometimes I'm like, oh, I really wish people were here to see what I painted, because I'm really proud of it, and I went through this phase when I was doing it, blah, 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 blah. So, like, I don't know, and, like, when the painting is done, I do want an audience. It's crazy to think that we can, like, pick and choose, you know, via posting. Obviously that was also possible before social media, that like if you're exposing your art in a gallery, you can choose what painting, what pieces of art you're putting up and what pieces you're not putting up. It's just that social media, it's so easy to be seen, like, and I'm not talking about a lot of people, but like if I post something, there's at least one person that's gonna see it, and that still feels like having an audience in a way. You can have an audience for everything, and it's kind of like taken for granted. I know that I didn't think about this before I had a less people seeing my things that I was used to. And I posted a few videos on YouTube and they got like less than 10 views, and I was like, oh, what was the point then? Actually, if you really enjoy doing something and no one sees it, then it doesn't matter because you enjoy doing it. But there are some things where people seeing it is part of the enjoyment, right? Like, it's the reason I like concerts more than I like Spotify. It's because when I'm listening to music in my bedroom alone, it's not the same as when I'm listening to music in a room full of people that feel the same way as I do in that moment. For some things, people seeing it and enjoying it with you is part of the fun, and it's part of the value of it, right? So if this is how I feel about making art, like making these collages, to me it feels more fun if I have other people here with me, like going through the same thing, you know? I have more fun if it's like an exchange between me and other people. So when no one sees it, I'm like, dang, what is the point? Well, thank you for hearing me. This is really cool. I love doing this. The thing is, I sound like so conceited when I do this, like when I talk like this, don't I? I think I do, because I'm like, I talk as if I know what I'm talking about, but I'm in the process of understanding what I'm saying while I'm saying it. But the thing is, talking out loud about it makes me understand what my thoughts are, you know? It's like, you know what I'm saying. So if you like my little rambling again, tell me, what do I want to know? Tell me your pet's name. Oh my god, I want to know your pet's name. I have a cat named Maestro. Actually, I have a lot of cats. Like a lot. Like, think of a number. It's more than that. Okay, and tell me your favorite lunch at the moment, or your favorite breakfast. I feel like we don't talk about breakfast a lot. We do talk about breakfast a lot, but we could talk about it more. People who have pancakes for breakfast, bro, I love you guys. Y'all are so brave. I don't really have breakfast anymore, but I should. It's so good. Okay, anyway, bye-bye. The next episode is probably gonna be like lighter because I'm just gonna talk about biking and enjoying being in nature. So bye bye. Thank you for listening to me. Check out my shop. It's in the description, obviously. You're gonna find lots of things that you love, probably. There's like prints, there's stationery, there's patches. Sorry, I burped. There's patches, what else? There's zines, lots of cool stuff. And check out my Instagram too. Leave a comment, tell me your thoughts about this, if you want to tell me your thoughts. Yeah, thank you for being here. I hope you had fun. Have a good day, have a good night. Bye bye, I love you.